PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Hello and welcome to PCN, local stories from Duxbury, Kingston, Pembroke, and Plymouth. We have a great show this week as we take you to a new winery grand opening in Plymouth, a green energy fair in Kingston, and bring you an update from the Ada Hall House in Pembroke.
PCN stops into the construction of an accessible playground at the Kingston Intermediate School, and we meet the kids behind the new garden at Cold Spring Elementary in Plymouth.
Design Corner is back with classic design of Duxbury, giving us some staging tips for selling your house. And Town Talk brings Plymouth Town Manager to our set.
It's a full show, and we begin in Duxbury at the grand opening of their new outdoor learning area. One teacher with an idea to connect the classroom with the outdoors has touched an entire community. Cheryl Lewis reached out to the Duxbury Education Foundation and leading local philanthropic company Battelle with her idea for an outdoor learning area. This project has grown to include many other organizations such as Wildlands Trust, Manomet Center for Conservation Science, Sustainable Duxbury, Conservation Commission, Rural and Historical Society, Mass Audubon, Garden Club, and the Alden House. PCN stopped into the school department's ribbon-cutting ceremony at Duxbury High School.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the opening of our outdoor classroom. It's a rare occasion that we can have the schools, communities, public entities, and private entities all get together. We've been promoting project-based learning, and this is one of the best things that we can have for our students, and it creates problem-solving, critical thinking skills, and we can use our technology embedded in there, so it's an all-encompassing project. And I personally want to thank everybody that's been involved in this. It's a tremendous boon for our education and also our community.
It's amazing. I'm excited that it's opening. It's nice to see it come to fruition and having all of those tools for teachers to use to do project-based learning. It's bringing together all of the content, and so it's truly interdisciplinary. It's amazing.
This is a project that seeded itself in a grant and some ideas here at the school level and some support financially from Battelle and through DEF. But then as the idea got shared, it's been an unstoppable community forum.
We provided seed money and 2 grants, $25,000 just to get the program going, focused on developing an outdoor learning area that included project-based learning and setting up an amphitheater, a deck for teachers to talk to the children, cameras, a spotting scope up in the library, binoculars, microscopes, just looking to help get things going. It has since taken off, and other community groups, Audubon, Natural Wildlands Trust, etc., will join in, as do students, and it will continue to grow.
Phase 1 was the planning, which we included students in, the design, preparation for the project. Phase 2 was construction, which really took place over the last year, of the amphitheater, getting the trails cleaned up, making sure that we really had access to what we wanted to have access to. Phase 3 is still in discussion. We're looking to put some bird watching areas outside shortly, adding some signage and really making it a place that can be used during community time independently without necessarily needing a school project attached to it.
What's really exciting is that we've brought the nature and science together so the kids can go out and study science outside. But what is really nice is the project learning is bringing together not only nature and science, but it's also bringing together history and English and social studies. And that's a key piece of what I wanted to bring, because they can go out to the amphitheater now and read poetry. They can go to the amphitheater and read stories in English.
Oh, it's just great. If there's anything at Battelle that I'm proud of, it's how we're able to give, and it helps me, helps the schools. My children are in the school, and everybody embraces it for the future.
Over the past few years, you may have noticed that wind turbines and solar panels aren't the anomaly they used to be. They seem to be almost everywhere. But still, not every home or community has them, and few of us actually know all of the pros and cons. The Green Energy Committee of Kingston hosted a Green Energy Fair to inform the public on all the efficient ways to create energy, reduce your carbon footprint, and save money on your electric bill.
This is the first Green Energy Fair that the town of Kingston has had. We've brought together some local vendors, some banks, some solar generation companies with wind power and solar power, and we brought in some of the municipal elements. And what we're doing here today is showing the residents of Kingston and surrounding communities opportunities that are available to them.
Libraries are paid for by the community, so it's a lot of people investing their tax money into something that benefits everybody. And one of the ways it benefits everybody is that you already have these resources there. You don't have to pay for them again on your own. You don't have to buy books separately unless you absolutely fall in love with something and you want to do it. But yeah, it's a really good way to let people reuse the same materials and borrow and recycle. And yes, it's painless because you're already doing it.
Kingston was one of the first 35 green communities, so we've tried to incorporate sustainability into Kingston. And we've done that by petitioning the state legislature for a home rule petition. 25% of the money that comes in from 10 megawatts, almost 10 megawatts of renewable energy we have is set aside to help residents. So if you're a resident of Kingston and you want to put solar panels on your house, new windows, anything that will save energy or generate renewable energy, we'll give you 25%.
Well, the benefits for solar begin with financial benefits. There are financial benefits in Massachusetts that are different than many other states. We happen to be one of the sweet spots in the nation now. We have things called SRECs. We apply, all of our customers get the federal tax credits, we get state tax credits. In most instances today, we're seeing an average-sized solar system paying back the customer in less than 5 years.
I am recently a grandfather. I am scared to death for Emma Jones. She's my granddaughter, a great direct descendant of Priscilla, Mullen, and John. Now, her world is really going to change, and I'm scared to death. So I and our committee and like-minded people are doing everything possible to make this world a better place, because where we are right now is we're setting record temperatures. Our world is changing. We had the windiest spring we've ever had. We are in big trouble, and if we don't make some changes, Emma's going to be in trouble. So that's why I'm here. It's all about Emma.
One number comes to mind when you think of the town of Plymouth, 1620. So if you're a new business trying to get people to remember your name, it's probably not a bad idea to incorporate that number into your brand. PCN met up with the owners of Plymouth's latest entry to the local business community, who did just that.
This is our second business. My husband and I owned a healthcare company for 15 years called Comfort Keepers prior to this, and that was an industry that had zero regulation. Entering an industry that is so highly regulated was such a slap in the face to figure out what permits we needed, what licenses we needed. One of the funniest things is a husband and wife can't own a winery and a wine bar. So we had to literally split, and he now owns the winery and I have to own the wine bar separately. And that was just a regulation of Massachusetts.
We hand-picked all the wood that was in there from varying different lumber yards throughout the South Shore. And we wanted to bring in a lot of wood just to really give it a very warm feel, but also, again, bring in that uniqueness. So we have that live edge bar that you see, very different, something that we haven't seen around here. I was able to go out to California earlier this year and tour 12 wine bars out there. So I brought back a lot of those ideas, shared them with Bob and Raquel, and the 1620 Winery and Wine Bar is a result of that.
My wine bar is dedicated to education. A lot of people do not realize that you don't need to go to Napa Valley to get great wine. The Finger Lakes in New York is our East Coast Napa Valley, and my job here at the wine bar is to educate folks on the different types of cold climate grapes that we can serve right here.
cold climate, you really got to be a lot more creative. You almost have to be a chemist to get the sugar right, to get the acids right, to make a drinkable wine. Like what I'm drinking right here, we call it Meeting House Red. It's 4 different cold climate grapes that most people would never have heard of.
Aside from my husband having a dream of owning a winery, location, 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 they drop these tour buses off right in front of the winery. But again, it's not just about the tourists. I really want my hometown folks to come and sit and learn about cold climate grapes. Tourists go home after Thanksgiving, and then my community, I hope, will still embrace me and come and enjoy a glass of wine with me.
The Ada F. Hall House is one of the oldest dwellings in Pembroke and was deeded to the Pembroke Historical Society in 1968. It now has a regular caregiver, and PCN is excited to bring you this update. But we're also excited by the 2 producers of this story, Violet and Matt, who are seniors at Pembroke High School, and as part of their senior year independent studies, they have produced this video for PCN.
So in 2014, I took over as the caretaker here at the Ada Hall House, and we've been very busy here. Along with the trustees that we have a wonderful board of trustees who kind of oversee everything. But we brought on Nate Bregley, who is a chef at Almanova, and also he grows a lot of the produce for the restaurant here. Last year, Nate's garden was a little smaller than it is this year. This year, he's expanding it. Also, we've expanded our chicken project. That's another major thing we've done here at Ada Hall since I moved in. Last year, we had all Plymouth Rock chickens. This year, we have guinea hens, both black and pearl guinea hens, as well as French guinea hens. We have Americanus chickens, as well as Australops. So they look sort of prehistoric, but they're very nice chickens. I haven't had any incidents where they are attacking anybody or anything. And that's Patrick, who just ran across the floor upstairs. Patrick is the other addition to the Ada Hall House. He is my cat, and he came here as a little kitten. And I'm hoping that by the end of the year, some of the children in Pembroke will know Patrick a little bit better, because I'm working on a short story, actually it'll be a children's book, where Patrick will get to meet some of the people that have made this building home for the past 331 years, starting with Robert Barker Jr. and going all the way up into the Ada Hall days. Projects coming up, well, recently we had electricity brought to the barn, which we did not have electricity for a long time. So that was done. Some painting here and there has been done on the house. And also, I believe there's going to be work being done on the basement, which it's a typical, 17th century basement. And we're hoping to have the house, a more visible presence in the community. I mean, obviously it's visible, but if you see my car here, generally I'm here, and I'm 90% of the time I'm willing to show you through the house. If you stop by, but usually we really like you to make an appointment by calling the Historical Society. But we have a great number of people that all care about this place, and including the Historical Society, and of course our trustees. Nothing could happen without them. So I'm very pleased to welcome you to the Ada Hall House.
That's a good update, and congratulations to Violet and Matt, who did a wonderful job with that. We're really pleased that PACTV is the educational access provider for Pembroke High School, and there's a lot of students like these two who get involved with Titan TV. At the high school, they have their own studio, so we're really happy to see this happening.
Yeah, definitely. From a technical standpoint, they did a lot of great stuff in there. A lot of good footage, and the sound of whatever animal that was to close out the story really kind of put the nice bow on it and to tie it all together, so that was a really great job.
Good for them.
In the fall of 2015, we met up with Debbie Grace in Barnstable, Massachusetts, to get a glimpse of what a boundless inclusive playground looks like. At the time, Debbie was still raising funds necessary to get a similar playground in the works for the town of Kingston. Less than a year later, the construction is nearly complete, and the anticipation of the day it opens is all that's left. I was happy to cover this story. One thing is for sure, kids love to watch construction. When When that construction involves building a new playground, it's even better. Now imagine you're one of those kids that's never been able to use a playground, and this one is being built just for you. The anticipation for this boundless inclusive playground might just be unbearable. What had started off as one of those off in the distance, keep your fingers crossed kind of ideas is now front and center as a reality as the construction of this playground nears completion.
It is still surreal. Lisa, my co-partner on this, we come out here every day and look at it and say, we still can't believe this is happening. People post it on Facebook, we still can't believe this is happening. In less than a year, we've raised over $225,000. Money still is coming in, believe it or not, for this. We've had people asking to donate things to it still. It's amazing how this community has come around this playground and around our kids.
While there's still just dirt on the ground now, the plan is to put a poured-in-place rubber surface that you can nearly bounce off of. The perimeter will be a black track with white dash lines, just like a road, for kids to ride their bikes and kid cars on.
It's going to be great for everybody, for grandparents, other caregivers that come out here that have mobility issues, for walkers, canes, crutches, you name it.
You may notice that the entry points on the playground are low to the ground. And that's no mistake. It's designed so that kids can get up onto the platforms on their own independently. And while it's not here yet, there's an even greater feature to arrive that will really set this playground apart.
There's going to be a slide that costs thousands and thousands of dollars that is almost like a series of rolling pins. And for kids who have sensory issues, to roll down that and be able to feel it on their body is going to be amazing.
For now, the kids will just have to wait while these workers continue to take care of business, assembling what promises to be a very impressive playground. In a few weeks, the playground will be fully functioning, and by the time the new school year rolls around, all the plantings will be in place, and it will be just as they had envisioned it a year ago. Reporting from Kingston, I'm Brian Sullivan for PCN.
The Cold Spring Elementary School in Plymouth recently received a grant for 8 new planting beds for the Student Garden Club. Kids and parents got together on a rainy Saturday to toil and sow, and PCN was there.
Today we were filling the boxes with dirt and planting flowers and plants, and we were shoveling dirt and evening the dirt in the boxes.
This whole project started probably about 3 years ago, and we had 3 beds, and it became such a positive experience. We have a science and garden club. The kids plant the seeds and then they plant outside. For many of them, they didn't know where the food actually came from. Instead of going to the grocery store, you pick it from the garden. It was kind of eye-opening for them. So by expanding this, we're allowed to have a lot more fruits and vegetables, mainly vegetables, and involve a lot more kids with this.
I think our school wants to get more involved into the environment, so they're planting these beds so every morning when kids walk or drive to school, they'll be reminded that you have to help the earth in order to be healthy.
What happened was that we had about 3 beds in our garden, and we really wanted to integrate it more into the school, and it was a little bit too small to do that. So I applied for the Plymouth Education Foundation grant for 8 additional beds and dirt and compost. And so we were accepted, and that's the result right here.
The nice thing about this project is we have a lot of the neighborhood support. Through the summer, we have a lot of people that come by, check out the garden, get things from the garden. It wouldn't have been possible without the support of people within the community. Emerald Landscaping in South Plymouth donated the dirt. Home Depot pre-cut all the wood, and we didn't have to pay for it. So things like that, and we were very excited about helping us with this project, volunteering to do it. What makes it so special?
I think the point is that we should all help the environment to make it a safer, cleaner place, and we're just doing this to make a garden of nice, clean, pretty plants and flowers.
Actually, there's somebody in the neighborhood that does that.
Design Corner is back with classic design out of Duxbury to bring us information on how to stage your house and help it sell.
Sandy Murphy of Classic Design in Duxbury. Today I'm here with PCN's Design Corner to show you a home I recently staged. This lovely older home in Middleborough, listed at 309, was renovated by a house flipper, and he asked me to stage it with a farmhouse theme and contemporary touches, and that's what he got. You'll see here on the island, we have a rooster and eggs. Certainly speaks to his farmhouse theme. It's whimsical, and it makes people smile when they walk in. In addition, we have some country decor on the walls, a setting over there of a pastoral scene, and nature on that wall. When you think of farmhouse decorating, you do think of things that are woven, such as baskets. That's why I added this woven tray. And then to finish it off, I just put some colorful fruit in front of it. Let's now go into the dining room where I'll continue with the farmhouse theme. So in staging a home, it really is important to have the home feel lively. This room could have been done with a brown table and brown chairs, but instead red chairs were added. It adds pizzazz and a lot of life to this room. Also, the table has been set, and it creates a warm, welcoming vibe for prospective buyers when they walk through. So in this living room, we continued with the contemporary / farmhouse theme. We have some contemporary fabrics, contemporary furniture, and yet the tables are all more casual, fits in with the farm style. Over here, we have contemporary artwork, but it's a mix. If you look more closely, it actually is an artwork of a horse. So it carries out both themes, that and contemporary. In this corner, it could have been a bland corner if I had rented a brown media cabinet. Instead, I thought this lime green one was much more interesting. So what is the outcome of the upgrades and the home staging? Well, let me tell you, this house sold in under 3 hours to the first people that walked through it. They loved the home, and they made an above asking price offer. So if you have a home that's 10 years old or more and you want to sell it, and you don't necessarily need to renovate a kitchen or bathrooms, but maybe your decor and colors might be dated and you're not aware of that. That's where hiring professional stagers will help you, because we know what has to be done to get your home sold and to have it done quickly. When that happens, a realtor usually lists the price higher, it will sell faster, and you'll make more money in your pocket. I want to thank you for coming on this mini tour with me through this home. Again, I'm Sandy Murphy of Classic Design for PCN's Design Corner.
Town Talk today brings Plymouth Town Manager Melissa Arrighi back to our set. Welcome, Melissa, as always.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. Going into summer, exciting times. Morton Park is always something that we talk about, and there's some issues with Morton Park as far as the abuse of the park.
You know, there's been visitors that have gone to Morton Park over the years that, you know, to be candid, don't respect the facility, and they leave a lot of litter, they leave burning coals that could start a fire in that beautiful area, and they do much worse than that. So we've been trying to get a handle on it, and we've worked with the Friends of Morton Park, who are residents that live in the area that love that whole facility.
Right.
We will be doing, the Board of Selectmen made some changes last year. They helped, but they didn't fix it. So the police chief, the assistant town manager, and a group met with the Friends of Morton Park just recently, and there are 4 key changes you'll see this summer if you go to visit.
Okay.
You will see it closing down at 5 o'clock.
Versus?
It used to be open till
sunset? Yeah.
That'll
okay.
make a really big difference.
That's a huge difference.
Close at 5.
Yeah.
If we need police assistance to move people out of the park, we will.
Okay.
We have that police presence that will be available. You will see more of a police presence, including some kind of patrolling on Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay.
And finally, and pretty significant, there will be no more cooking on open coals, which is what a lot of these people that visit that are being wasteful tend to do. And I think with those 4 changes, I'm hopeful. I'm actually more than hopeful that we will see some changes this year.
Now,
for the better.
Who are the standard people that go to visit Morton Park? Is it people that live in Plymouth, or is it tourists, or what's?
You know, it's hard to determine because you know it's not like you ask for licenses. However, I think we'll get a better handle on that now. One thing I didn't mention is it used to be up to 200 cars. Think how many people you could bring in with a 200. It's down to 100.
Oh, okay.
So that'll make a difference. I have to tell you, and I don't want to be biased, but I don't think that the abuse is coming from the residents or the people that live in Plymouth.
Yeah.
I think it's coming from people that may come from out of town that just don't know how important our natural resources are to us.
Okay, good. I'm glad that's being done. That's excellent. Now, we talk a lot about public developments going on in Plymouth all the time. Let's talk a little bit about private development.
Our building department has become so much busier with issuing permits, and I'm pleased to see more business development and commercial development because it does alleviate a little bit of the burden on the residential property taxes. So you see Market Basket that will be opening up very soon, within the next week, so that is exciting. I think they'll be doing a soft opening first and then really advertise a grand opening. Colonial Ford, many people in town have seen all the work that's been done on Pilgrim Hill Road on the right-hand side as you head towards town. That development is moving there. We have another car dealership that is going into Colony Place. You will see some residential development in town. There's been a permit pulled for a 55-plus development, but that's needed. I believe it's over 60% of our population is in that age group, so that's something that will be useful to the town. And then one of the fun projects is both a town project and a private. The Chamber of Commerce is doing an arts project where that they have purchased, you know a little bit about this, and the town is also putting up, I think it's about a dozen either benches or Adirondack chairs, picnic tables that will be decorated by school student artists.
Which is wonderful.
And that'll go around town. I think it will be a fun little thing to have in this summer and spring.
That's terrific. ABC Disposal, there's some interesting information going on about them.
ABC Disposal recently filed for bankruptcy protection. ABC has a contract with the town, it's been in place for years, that they pick up our curbside pickup.
Right.
So people in town that have curbside pickup, they might have a private hauler, but if they use a town service, it's ABC. We've received a lot of calls from people worried that with this bankruptcy filing, what happens to their rubbish? There will be no disruption in service at all. Right after they filed for bankruptcy, there was a terrible fire at their facility, and that's caused people more angst about it. You know, I'm here to assure them that we have protection in place under our contract and to continue using the service as they always have.
Okay. And just to give a little preview of something that we'll do in the future here on PACTV Community News, the water in Plymouth is a matter that's very near and dear to your heart.
You know, we have a lot of people that really rely on a water system, and it's not something you think about when you turn on the water in your home. You expect that it is clean and safe. I recently watched Jonathan Beater talk very passionately about the water department, which isn't really a well-recognized division.
Right.
I mean, we have 6,500 catch basins. You wouldn't believe the
Which is
number.
incredible.
It's just... It's a wonderful system with great employees, and I'd love to spend some time on it.
And we will. We'll do a special segment on the water department because it's a very positive thing too.
It is.
You know, the whole thing.
And important.
And very important. Thank you so much, Melissa.
Sure.
Until next time. Thanks so much for watching. Links to all our stories can be found at our website and YouTube. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for previews, links, and behind-the-scenes fun. See you next week for more stories from Kingston, Duxbury, Pembroke, and Plymouth.